We're going. All right. Welcome to the most official, the best that you will find anywhere by anyone. Halo Reach Speedrunners tier list. All right. I've done extensive research. No. So okay, I'm doing this live. I wanted it to be like chill and casual. I did minimal research. I just posted a Halo 2 tier list. I didn't actually look at it. I was just like, oh, I want to do a Halo Reach Runner tier list, and I threw this together. I'll talk a little bit about my criteria, right? So I have 15 Halo Reach runners right here. It's a mix of old runners and new runners. Basically, how I narrowed it down is I just looked at everyone that has a Halo Reach world record at any point, right? There are not actually that many people, so the game's history has been really dominated by a few people. So there are actually not there. Like I wanted to do 15 runners. There was only about I think 20, around like 20 people, or at least low 20s that have probably ever had a Halo Reach record, um, something like that. Not that many. So I've narrowed it down to 15. Some of the criteria I am thinking about is that well, you have to have a little bit of everything in my mind. If you don't have a little bit of everything, a little bit of all the criteria, it definitely brings you down. But at the same time, if you stand out really high in one of my categories, it can, like if you're S plus tier at like 2 ILs, that can bring you up. And then if you're just super decent at everything, that can also bring you up. So some of the criteria I had were impact on the game, and that can be through like finding strats or just pushing levels down. It could be dominance. Dominance at one particular time. It could be player skill. So you might have not necessarily the accolades to show for it, but you might have really S tier skill. It could be strat finding. Goes hand in hand with pushing levels. It could be overall impact, maybe different categories, a little bit of co-op, a little bit of extra categories. Now, extra categories and co-op aren't really included, but they can be included like within a tier. So if you're in B tier and two people are really similar, but one person has like way more impact on extra categories and co-op, they might get the nudge over them. But if the bulk of your impact on the game has been in co-op, you're not on this list. This is like my take on the 15 best Halo Reach speedrunners of all time. Obviously, there are going to be some runners like that have come in the game super recently in the last few years, and that have not yet made their full impact on the game. That this year might look really different a year from now, you know. And I will go over those names, honorable mentions at the end. But first, I will introduce all the runners on our list. So my top 15 in no particular order. Here we have Backflip, I think. Backflip. Oroxade. We have Cake Pepsi. And I tried to use bases if I could find it, but I didn't spend too long looking. I've whipped this all together in like an hour, guys. Like, I spent most of the time narrowing down the top 15, and then I was looking for pictures. But anyway, so we got Backflip, Old School Runner, Oroxade, Old School Runner, Cake Pepsi, New School, IL Only Runner, Dayton, New School IL Focused Runner, Danos, who is a extensive like easy runner, excelling in both ILs and full game. We have who's this? Oh god. This is Monk. There we go. Monk, OG IL grinder of the game. And then we have Wolfie. Obviously, Wolfie needs no introductions. One of the legends of the game. Nails. Obviously, needs no introductions. Dice. Very, very, probably the premier strat finder of Halo Reach history, I'd say. Plus, very good IL runner. And full game times on both categories. We've got Mankey. Super, super dominant full game runner. And then we've got Sorix, probably needs no introduction. Everyone knows Sorix. We've got Pedregas, needs no introduction. Has the MCC achievement, speedrunning achievement named after him. We've got DM Penguin, another IL specialist, and we've got Seclusive, needs no introduction. And then we have this random guy. Okay, we got Too Easy, which, yes, I'm putting myself in the top 15. It's my list, sue me. There we go. All right, so how am I going to start this off? The tiers, I'm going to go S plus tier and S tier, and that's because for me, the difference, there's a lot of S tier players, but there's a fucking level above S tier, but that comes with what did you do with it, you know? There are some players, maybe in S tier, that I'm going to put in S tier that didn't necessarily reach their full potential, and you could say, oh, this person's as good as this person, or was as good as this person, okay, but do they have the accolades to show for it? So for me, S plus tier is like, yeah, S plus, and then I'm going to have an A tier, B tier, C tier. Now, remember, for anyone who ends up being in C tier, or if I put your best friend in C tier, this is the tier list of the best 15 Halo Reach speedrunners of all time. Okay, so to get on this list, you're doing something right. Now, all right, I'm going to start off with kind of what I don't want to do it one tier at a time. I want to try and spread it out. So, and I don't know where I'm going to put people. Okay, this is all fresh. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to look at chat too much. I'm going to make my case for everything. I'm going to leave it, and then after we've done my tier list, I will maybe look at some arguments that people are making for changes in the chat, and maybe have an amended one. We'll see. So I might put out a separate video with the discussion after the tier list, but the first video will just be my tier list, which is no one else's input. So I'm sorry if I'm rambling a lot and not looking at chat. I'll respond to everyone's messages after. So for me, obviously let's start with S tier exclusive tier, S plus tier. Why S tier over S plus? Well, I mean, I don't even need to make an argument, right? This is the greatest Halo Reach speedrunner of all time. ILs, both difficulties. There we go, S plus tier. He has the skill, and he's gone and done something with it, right? So that's who exemplifies S plus tier for me. Who exemplifies S tier for me? I'm going to say someone like Mankey, who has the skill to be an S tier, but didn't necessarily apply it to reach S plus tier, right? Mankey famously never did ILs. He got some IL world records while practicing, right? Or like maybe Alan West ledge world record once or twice by practicing, just practicing. So like he was doing his full game strats. So like he could have done a lot more to get that S plus tier, but just didn't play the game long enough, or didn't necessarily go for the fastest times. A lot of the time, he wasn't necessarily trying to push the game. He was just trying to get that record, which is just a different mindset, you know? A lot of the time, he got record, and instead of beating himself and like pushing it lower, he was just happy to park it, you know? And really awesome playstyle as well. Very consistent, but also very high skill. So that exemplifies S tier for me. Shout out to Mankey, also first Halo Reach speedrun I ever witnessed with my two eyes, and the speedrun that made me want to speedrun Halo. And if you, I'm just going to jump on the bias topic early. There's going to be bias, right? First of all, there's going to be bias because I'm a new runner. I started running the game in about 2021, maybe late 2020. I can't remember. So there's going to be a bias more towards what I know. And I have looked a little bit at the record graphs and the record histories and stuff, and each of these runners' profiles. But like Halo runs site world record history isn't necessarily accurate all the time. due to historical reasons, site migrations, runners can delete their runs and then re-upload them, but then that deletes the history. Website changes, a lot of the early records were on high-speed Halo, and so on and so forth. I'm also gonna like be more aware of like the achievements of someone that was around in my time, of like, oh man, this person was super close to world record, and I'm gonna weigh that in my mind, whereas maybe someone else had a really impressive run that was super close to full game world record, but I'm not gonna know about it. So it won't necessarily be impacted. So there's gonna be bias, it's impossible, but I am aware of the bias and I'm doing my best to account for it. And in my mind, if you ask my honest opinion, is that I think I'm probably gonna overcorrect a little bit against my own bias, but we'll see. Okay, we're up to A tier. So who exemplifies A tier for me? I would say Pedregas. Does Pedregas represent A tier? Was Pedro going in S tier? God, that's tough. I think I'm going to put Pedregas in A tier. Just because, God, this is a tough one with the A tier or S tier. And this is once again a historical bias thing. So obviously Pedregas dominated the hell out of the game, both difficulties or levels. But he didn't reach the level of dominance that Seclusive or Nails did when it comes to ILs. And yeah, I'm going to leave Pedro in A tier right now. For me, he exemplifies A tier. But I'm being pretty harsh. I might bump that up. We will have to see. Who exemplifies B tier? For me, would be Wolfie. Where Wolfie had a good run on full game legendary, and some ILs, world records as well. Who exemplifies C tier? Well, the C tier of people who made it on this list are people who dominated 1 or 2 ILs. So someone who's in the middle of the road of these IL dominators would probably be, God, it's a tough one. I'm gonna say DMP. Let's just start. This is a tough one. I'm gonna have to see later, but maybe I'll put DMP. So DMP had a tip of the spear world record, so 2 IL world records, and also a very, very strong and competitive full game world record time. Even like striking distance from world record. So, fun fact, he PB'd the same day Seclusive got the current Halo Easy world record, and he got the, at the time, community gold NA in full game. And then Seclusive got the community gold later that day. So there's something funky about that date. And my conspiracy theory has been that NA objective RNG is calculated by the date, so that if you set your console's date or PC's date back to the day when the Halo Reach Easy World Record was set and DMP's PB was set, you might get better NA RNG. And that's just my conspiracy theory. Anyway, I do believe it though, but okay. So we've got our tiers established, although we might juggle it around later. I've talked to you a bit about each tier. Now let's go through. So who else is going to go in C tier? We'll go back up towards the top, okay? Another C tier in this list is going to be Dayton. Now, Dayton, very similar to DMP, dominated the hell out of 2 ILs. Dayton dominated. Okay, DMP didn't dominate ILs. DMP got a world record on TOTS, and he got a world record on Exodus. He didn't necessarily push it too far. Let's This is going to be a fucking deep dive, by the way, guys. I love hearing myself talk. Let's look at tip of the spear, record history. We've got DM Penguin here. So he got a 1 second record and then was bought by 1 second. So that's good. Especially doing it also on Exodus. Grabbing an Exodus recce as well. Guys, grabbing a recce off, like grabbing a Halo Reach recce has always been hard because you always had someone just dominating the game. You always had Pedro or Nails or it was exclusive. So it's just gotten harder and harder over the years. So grabbing one is tough. He grabbed another 1 second recce here. So grabbing 2 1 second recces off exclusive is good. And then that full game time, which is good. But let's look at Dayton, right? If we go Dayton POA, oh, we're here in Exodus. Let's look at Dayton Exodus. So Dayton Exodus got 7 seconds on exclusive. And then also, we look at Dayton POA. Dayton POA is just crazy, guys. Dayton POA ledge, you had to be there. Look at this. He took it from a 911 to an 8, to an 835. Are you kidding me, guys? That's still only been beaten by 1 second by exclusive. That was 835 in 2021. And exclusive's got an 834 in 2025. So Dayton goes above DMP in the C tier. That dominance on those 2 ILs wins out against having a good full game time. And Dayton doesn't have full game times, but it doesn't matter. It's like I said, the well-roundedness isn't there, but if you excel so fucking hard in one of my criteria, it's going to bump you up. Okay, so now I want someone else for the B tier, and I'm going to go with your boy Too Easy. So I think I'm in the B tier because although I also have only had 2 world records on 2 levels, I've got the reason I'm calling myself B tier instead of C tier is my full game times in both difficulties. I've had a lot of trophies in both difficulties. It's the well-roundedness, right? And then it's also a lot of co-op, a lot of extra categories. So yeah, I'm just going to put myself in B tier. Yeah, so world records, 2 world records on LNOS, a world record on Oni, and strong full game times on both difficulties. I've never been top 3 in easy, but I think I've been top 4, top 5. Anywho, I'm gonna put myself in the B tier. Sue me. A tier. Who's another A tier runner? See, this is where I don't think we have another A tier runner. I think Pedro might end up. We might end up seeing Pedro in the A tier by himself. Honestly, because I feel like he's just a clear cut above everyone below him, but a clear cut below everyone above him, if that makes sense. So we're gonna go with Sorix. No, yeah. We're gonna go with Sorix into the S tier. So Sorix, similar to like I talked about Mankey in the S tier, just exceptional skill. Has the skill to be S+, but just doesn't have the accolades or achievements. But got a full game world record, legendary. Less full game world records on legendary than Mankey. I think Mankey's had it 3 times. Let's check. Full game. Mankey's had it only twice. So Mankey's had it twice. Sorix has had it once, but Sorix's bop was huge, guys. Took it from a 111.32 to a 109.53. Still only 30 seconds faster to this day, and no one even has a 110. Well, counting exclusive, no one even has a 115. No, wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm drunk. Don't mind me, guys. I need to be looking at leaderboards. There we go. So, okay, sorry. We got... Mankey's got a 112. No one's even got a 111. There we go. There we go. No one else has even got a 111. And Sorix is on 109. So... yeah. I'm taking Sorix's full game dominance over Mankey's. And Sorix has better ILs as well. Although that's kind of a free win because, once again, Mankey didn't do ILs. So once again, everyone in this S tier could be S plus if they had the accolades to back it up, to stack up against the S plus. Speaking of S plus, I'm also going to be putting Nails up there. Nails is the only person who can compare to Seclusive when it comes to dominance of this game, because Pedregas had dominance over both full game categories and many ILs, but not all of the ILs. Not like Nails and Seclusive. Nails and Seclusive were competing for world record on every single IL, or having world record on every single IL. So that is an unparalleled level of dominance. Obviously, Seclusive is going to stay above Nails. But if you guys are... So I'm actually expecting pushback against this one. But what really sealed it in my mind... If you guys had asked me a few years ago, I would have had Seclusive... I wouldn't have had Nails in Seclusive's tier when it come to Halo Reach speedrunning. One thing changed my mind, right? And that was, if we go to world record history package. So Nails didn't come back to the game except for one thing. He came back and he played package in, 2022? And to come back to this game and take Seclusive's best level from him and most played level from him, like, Seclusive started as, like, just the package guy. And it was also if we look at how far down, like, I might need to zoom in on this. Look at how far down Seclusive took package. Look at this. So since Seclusive came to the game, grabbed package, didn't give it back to anyone. Took it from a 10-24 to an 8-16. And Nails just comes back, bam, just like that. And takes that. And also the new strats that he found were crazy as well. The new ways, the optimizations that he brought as well were just crazy. When that happened, and that was in my mind where I was like, okay, wow, this Nails guy is for real when it comes to Halo Reach. And then obviously same thing happened on Easy, right? It all happened at the same time. And, still really sick times. So for me, S tier is Exclusive and Nails tier. S plus tier, sorry. Okay, we're going to head back down the mountain now. So is there anyone else in S tier? For me, no. This is our S tier / S plus tier. These are the 4 greatest, 5 greatest. And Pedro is going to stay in A tier alone. These are the 5 greatest Halo Reach players of all time. I don't think that's debatable. Maybe some people might take exception to me putting... maybe this is recency bias, me putting Sorix and Mankey in here, but I don't know. Alright. I guess the weakest argument is... I don't know, man. Maybe these two need to swap. But I still think, skill-wise... See, Pedro has the accolades over Mankey. Accolades, both difficulties, co-op, everything over Mankey, except for, in my mind, skill. So yeah, Mankey's skill his aim, his composure. They just, I mean, you can just look at his full game time and just, yeah, that just takes it for me. And then Sorix above Mankey, Nails above Sorix, exclusive above Nails. Yeah, I like this a lot. Okay, is anyone else going in A tier? Wolfie, no. Your boy, too easy, no. I don't think anyone on here is going in A tier. I think that's our top three. So, top 3 tiers, top 5 runners. Okay, so we're gonna find someone else for B tier. For me, this is a tough one. Backflip has had a lot of full game records, I believe. But they were a long time ago. But he did take it back a lot of times off Wolfie. But once Pedro took it, and again, once again, I don't know, like, if I don't know the history. I don't know if like backflip wasn't around or whatever. So this is a tough one. I don't know if anyone else goes in B tier, just because if you look at me and Wolfie, we both have very good full game times on both difficulties, IL times on both difficulties. I don't put myself above Wolfie, to be honest. That might be personal bias, but I'm going to go with that. Once again, could be recency bias, but I believe I played in a more competitive era where there are better players and more players. Who else? I don't know if anyone else is going B tier either, guys. This is a tough one. I guess Monk. I think Monk. I think Monk's going in B tier because Monk just blows everyone in. Monk has skill level to be here. But Monk probably, I don't know. Monk just gets let down by, I guess, being an IELTS specialist, not having necessarily amazing full game times, or never really grabbing the record. I don't know, I feel like he could have. Like, his skill level was off the charts. Like, if you start playing Halo Reach today and start learning, like, let's look at Monk. If you start learning the game now, it's hard to beat Monk's times. Like, it's hard. Let's go find Monk. I don't even know. I don't even know how to find him. Let's go to Tip of the Spear. Yeah, so, like, beating Monk's times is a rite of passage. Like, his times are good. And I'm guessing a lot of these times he had, but were gone now. But yeah, a lot of these times are hard to beat, man. They're hard to beat now. So Monk's going to go in B tier for me. I mean, to show you how good he is skill-wise, I got this pic. The only picture of his face I could find was of a picture. Like, he dumpstered the shit out of Ninja. On like Ninja was a Halo 5 Pro, and he got like absolutely dumpstered by Monk on like a Halo. Anyway, the skill level is off the charts for Monk. I'm putting him in B tier. Monk is clearly the best to me out of all these IL grinders. The C tier is kind of like IL dominance tier. Yeah, just because Monk has that skill level for the time is insane. And then another C. I feel like everyone else is in C tier. So let's go through. Dice, strat finding, IL world records on NA and Tip of the Spear. Dice is of the most impactful strat finder of Halo Reach history. He blew open essentially 3 levels of the game, kind of single-handedly. So he completely destroyed. He completely destroyed WC. He completely destroyed Nightfall with APL, and he completely destroyed Tip of the Spear with auto scroller skip. So yeah, had world records on Tip of the Spear, had world records on Nightfall, had world records on NA, which is 3, which actually gets them above these two, to be honest. Plus strat, that's just like plus strat finding impact. Good times on both full games. Like DMP's got a good easy time and amazing full game time. Dayton doesn't have either. Dayton doesn't have a ledge time. Doesn't have an easy time or ledge time. Or like a high tier one to match his skill level. DMP doesn't have a ledge. Dice has got decent ledge and decent. This is history. Dice has got decent ledge and decent easy, right? Yeah, 103, top 14, 122. Okay, 122 isn't so good, and Dayton's even better than Dice. Okay, I thought Dice had a better legendary time. Anyway, I'm still going to put Dice above Dayton and DMP. Oroxade, some good legendary impact, some world records, full game world records, I believe. Obviously dominated NA for a number of years. Seems to be very on par to DMP, where it's like, this is a tough one, to be honest. I'm gonna put Oroxide over DMP just because I think they're a very similar caliber of achievements, but Oroxide probably has higher skill and wider impact and like wider coverage. Plus, you know, another I guess tiebreaker. Too blurry. We blurry out here. I think it's just your eyes. I'm just kidding. Oroxade with the lasso deathless shit was fucking insane. He has like a 2-hour lasso deathless run, so, and that's like this year, so that bumps him up. Then we have Kate Pepsi. So Kate Pepsi, extreme dominance of 2 ILs, and I'm talking probably the most. When I say extreme dominance, I'm talking Dayton POA level dominance. Okay, like Dayton POA level dominance of Tip of the Spear. If we look at this, once Dice pushed, got auto scroller skip, and pushed Tots from 531 to 454, Kate Pepsi pushed that even further. It got down to 430, which is almost a minute. 59 seconds away from what it was before the strat was introduced. So that is as we've established, that's Dayton POA ledge levels of dominance, and then we're going to Exodus, which once again Dayton POA levels of dominance. If you look at this, yo, Sorix, that's insane. That's wild. So Kate Pepsi, I thought Kate Pepsi grabbed it and never took it back, but Kate Pepsi grabbed it and actually Sorix got in there with some action. Shout out to Adzi. Adzi's an honorable mention for sure. But I wanted 15 was a nice number, like roughly 5 tiers, 3 in each tier, plus a lot of these people that I have in C tier, these IL dominators, have dominated more than one IL. Adzi definitely dominated Exodus, but he only dominated one IL, plus he didn't grind it to the level of a POA, a Dayton Ledge POA, or a Kate Pepsi Reach Ale. You know, he took it from like a 48 to a 38, which, while is impressive, it's not on that par. So yeah, Kate Pepsi, even though, like I said, so Kate Pepsi is maybe the biggest example of my like heuristics of Kate Pepsi doesn't even have full game times. Kate Pepsi doesn't even have all the easy IL times, but they're on this list because of just straight. Dayton has one Dayton POA Ledge-esque level. Kate Pepsi has two Dayton POA-esque levels. Here's the question: does Kate Pepsi's dominance of those two levels win out against Dice's strat finding? That's a tough one. I think it does, but then in comes Dice again with the counterpunch of Dice having full game times and co-op. A lot of co-op and a lot of co-op strat finding. I'm going to keep Dice over Kate Pepsi. And then we've got Backflip. Backflip, I'm going to chuck just behind Oroxade. And above I'm going to put DMP. I don't know. See, the end of C tier is very close. So Backflip, a lot of similar impact to Oroxade, a lot of Ledge world records, a lot of IL world records. And then let's look at Backflip a little bit more. So full game. Yeah, was fighting with Wolfie. Backflip on easy, I should say, not Ledge. And then also had a couple ILs, I'm sure. I wanted to make a balance of old runners and new runners. So we got Backflip. And then we've got Danos. Extreme dominance of LNOS, both difficulties, which was cool. Really competitive, easy, full game time. Yeah. Ooh. I'm going to put Danos over DMP. Even though DMP did it on more levels, Danos did it on more difficulties and has the co-op achievements to his name as well. Okay, so Danos gets over DMP, but as we established, DMP and Oroxade were very close. I'm gonna put Danos over because Danos has got a good ledge time as well, I'm sure. Danos, ledge, Killer Reach ledge. I mean, it's a sub 130. It's nothing to sniff at, you know what I mean? It's a good sub 132, sub 126. Plus times across the board. Did Danos have other records? I think Danos just had LNOS easy ledge. And a very competitive full game time. But yeah. I'm going with Danos here. Okay, so now Danos is fighting Dayton. Nah, I'm sorry. If Dayton maybe had one... Okay, let's examine Danos' dominance of... Okay, history. We need to go to history. Okay, LNOS history. Let's examine Danos' LNOS. So, Oh my god, that's a big jump. So Danos, easy. Oh god. Danos's clues went back and forth to push it on a 1042 to a 1020. $12.10? You crazy, Danos? Like, it was $12.59 in that year. It was $13.25 that year. And then right at the end of the year, he took it to $12.10. That's crazy. Oh, but is it Danos or is it Dayton, guys? I'm giving it to Danos because of his full game easy time, which was third place for a number of years. And he could have gone better. Remember, yeah, the potential was there because he went and like dominated Halo 4, you know? Whereas if he put all that time into Reach, yeah, so Thanos right below Kate, Pepsi. I think we're finished. What would I change? No, I think this is it, to be honest. I think I'm happy with this. I think I'm going with this, guys. I'm gonna have a look at the chat now, see if there's any arguments. Doesn't look like it. Looks like people are just... Cube wants to be first. Okay, no, actually, before I talk with chat, I want to go through some honorable mentions. So, if we go to this page, obviously, my criteria was very holistic. You know, Caboose just lacks the... Like, a lot of most of his gameplay has been on co-op, and I'm pretty sure if he played solo earlier, he would have snatched some recce's. Also playing with the disadvantage of, for a lot of time, as being like stuck on controller, console, so like Caboose is easily like someone who could be on this list for sure. And if you make this list in a year's time, he'll probably be on there, to be honest. And if I made a list of like top runners of, you know, MCC onwards, he would be on there. If I did a 20 top runners in the 2020s onwards, or like top runners currently, I might do another list. I might do a 2026 Reach Runners tier list. Like as the leaderboards stand in 2026. Obviously, Cube again, lots of co-op impact, but no solo impact. Kronos is a big omission, but for me, he was one of those people who only had one IL world record, I believe. And most of the IL grinders on there had two. But Kronos has got a lot of co-op impact, as we see here. Also, it's tough. Nightfall, like just the nature of APL makes it a weird one. Makes Nightfall Ledge world record a really weird one. Obviously, Thumb, super strong console player. Who else is missing? Waifu. So this list could be outdated in a week, because if mainly, sorry, I'll get to that in a second. So this list could be outdated tomorrow, because if Waifu comes and does what he's potentially about to do, and as I said to Wingman the day before, and when me and Wingman were on a hike, a day before Sorix got his Reach Ledge World Recce, I said, hey, we were on a hike in New Zealand, and Wingman was like, hey, so what do you think about Sorix going for Reach Ledge World Recce? You reckon he's going to get it? And I'm like, well, it's tough with Reach because it's all about NA. So he's going to either grind it for 6 months and get smacked in the face and be absolutely miserable and eventually just get it. Or he's going to get it tomorrow with a sick NA. It really just depends on NA. He has the skill to get it. The next day he got it with like a fucking super quick NA. And then super clutch in game. So, same thing applies to Waifu right now. If the game cooperates, Waifu could beat the unbeatable run tomorrow, which I have very recently even stood on business saying that time will never be beaten. So I said at the time, I said when Seclusive got that run that it would never be beaten. And then people keep saying, oh, it'll be beaten with autoscroller skip. And I was like, nah, not even with autoscroller skip. And then people started actually going for it. And I said, no, you're still not going to beat it even with autoscroller skip. Now, Waifu's kind of proven me wrong already by being in striking distance and by adding in all the strats that he's doing while not being at Seclusive skill level, which means that if one of these S tier runners did all the strats Waifu's doing, the run's beatable. Now, I'm still sticking with my core. It's never going to be beaten, right? I still think it's never going to be beaten. I think the fucking blue sky scenario is too hard to hit. With package, wave RNG, with NA, I don't think anyone's ever going to beat it. But yeah, there's still, I could be wrong, and this list could be out of date next week. And if Waifu tomorrow beat that time, that unbeatable time, he would be probably at least an A tier, if not S tier. Just with that one achievement. So honorable mentions. Who else we got in the honorable mentions? Obviously Yev's done a lot of really sick full game stuff. I think that's about it. Viper's done a lot of strat finding. Django's just legend of the game. I think that basically covers it. By honorable mentions, I'm saying people who could have a case to be in the top 15. Cool. All right. Honorable mentions done. Mainly Cake says, is this the ranking the skill of the runners or it's more solo history? I kind of explained at the beginning, and I'm going to upload this in a moment, Mainly Cake, but everything's included, but it's more about solo. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think we're going to leave it there unless anyone has... if anyone thinks anything different, I don't think so. I might have maybe discussion in a separate video. If people want to leave comments or something, or if people make their own tier lists. But I think I'm just gonna call it like that. And here we have it. Let's name the tiers. S plus tier, just legendary accolades. And then we got legendary skill. And then A is the Pedregast tier. B is not quite there tier. I don't know. Who knows? B tier is just B tier, and then C tier is IL / Well, it's like I don't know, C tier, C tier. It's like IL dominance slash like good for their era. I don't know. Slash, yeah, miscellaneous. B, not quite it, chief. Not quite Pedregas. There we go. There we go. So we got legendary accolades, legendary skill, Pedregas, not quite Pedregas, and then IL dominance slash miscellaneous. Alright. I'm downloading the tier list. I'm uploading the video. Thank you for joining. Stream tonight, maybe, maybe not. Tune in next time for another fucking Halo Reach tier list. We're a tier list channel now. All right, peace out.